Imagine a world where your soulmate is chosen for you, not by fate, but by the government. Welcome to the future where love is a science, not an art. In Japan, the government has introduced a new policy in several schools, known as the Red Threads of Science. Interesting, isn't it? Well, here's how it works. When a student turns 16, the government steps in to act as a matchmaker. They conduct an exam where each student shares their likes, dislikes, habits, and traits. The government then uses this information to match them with their most suitable partners. And guess what? This system is so effective that divorce rates have dropped dramatically. Young hearts believe they've found their soulmate. And who are we to argue when the results are so promising? But here's the catch. The government doesn't want these youngsters to fall in love before they turn 16. They want them to wait for the program named Looking for My Soulmate, and if they don't, they have to face heavy fines and lose many privileges. So in this world, love isn't just about butterflies in your stomach. It's about rules, exams, and waiting for the government to find your match. The story begins with a young girl named Aoi. Just like every other girl, she dreams of meeting her Prince Charming one day. When she turns 16, the government will reveal her future husband's name. After school ends, she bumps into her childhood best friend, Yuto. He has been secretly in love with Aoi since childhood, but he never confessed his feelings because of their friendship. Now when Aoi is about to meet her future husband, he worries that their friendship will never be the same. During the conversation, Yuto recalls the time when they were kids. Aoi didn't get a chance to play the role of the princess, so she had forbidden Yuto, who was playing the prince, from kissing the princess, because at the time, she liked him. Later, at Aoi's home, her parents host a birthday celebration. During this, she finds out that the government has mailed the partner allocation notice to her parents. It makes her nervous, but her parents reassure her by sharing their own love story. They were matched at 16, and their love has passed the test of time. This comforts her, but also sparks a curiosity about her uncle, who never married. However, instead of sharing his experience, her uncle skillfully avoids the question and gifts her a dress as a gift for her first date. After the party, she lies in her bed, anxiously waiting for her notice. Suddenly, Yuto calls her and asks her to come outside. He gifts her an ornament, which brings a big smile on her face. To ease her anxiety, she convinces Yuto to practice a roleplay with her, as if he is her husband. In the heat of the moment, Yuto slips up and confesses his love for her. He knows that she will marry the partner chosen by the government, so he wishes to be that partner. However, if that's not the case, Yuto assures her that he will let her be happy with whoever her partner is. This shocked her, as she did not know how to react. Just then, the notice arrives. While she's still considering whether to open the notice or not, a handsome boy named Sosuke arrives, introducing himself as her future husband. He gifts her flowers. After seeing this, Yuto walks away with a heavy heart. Meanwhile, Aoi is thrilled to meet Sosuke. He hands her an address, telling her it's the location of a restaurant where they'll have their first date. But before Aoi can respond, Sosuke leaves her with a mixture of excitement and confusion. Next day, Aoi dresses up and heads to the restaurant for her date. Over dinner, Sosuke shares his goal to become a doctor and inherit his father's hospital. Aoi congratulates him, expressing faith in their promising future together. But he becomes frustrated with her constant talk, so he holds her hand and asks her to be quiet. When they leave the restaurant, Aoi is eager to know more about him. She asks Sosuke if he's interested in learning about her, but unfortunately, Sosuke admits he's not interested in her. He confesses he had no other choice instead of being her husband. This realization shatters Aoi's heart, as she thought he had feelings for her. Back at school, her friends are jealous, seeing she's getting married to a handsome boy. But Aoi isn't as excited as they are after realizing that Sosuke isn't the boy she was hoping for. Despite this, they continue to date, but each date ends badly as Sosuke always ignores her and acts coldly. After enduring around many unsuccessful dates, Aoi shares her situation with Yuto. He suggests her to meet Sosuke's parents, as they might be able to provide insights into their son's preferences. Taking his advice, Aoi visits Sosuke's parents. Upon meeting them, Sosuke's father advises her to behave properly. After all, she's going to be part of their family. This comment offends Sosuke. He confronts his father, stating that he will not allow them to control Aoi's life. That's a bold move. When Sosuke and Aoi walk to the bus stop, she thanks him for protecting her, and said that after meeting his father, she completely understands why he is so reserved and cold. Her words melt his heart. Just before she boards the bus, he takes her hand and leans in for a kiss. The next day, Aoi shares whatever happened with Yuto, and thanks him for his valuable advice. During their conversation, a government advisor approaches Aoi. He warns her to behave properly, as she now has a partner. However, Yuto clarifies the misunderstanding and explains that they are just childhood friends. Afterward, Yuto starts ignoring Aoi. But on the other side, Aoi plans to celebrate his 16th birthday. She asks Sosuke to accompany her to purchase a birthday gift for Yuto. He agrees, but it's clear that he feels jealous. Seeing this, Aoi gives him a hug, expressing her happiness at his jealousy, as it signifies his love for her. At school, Yuto receives a scarf as a birthday gift. Aoi asks when he will meet his future girlfriend. Yuto reveals that he'll meet her during summer vacation, as she lives on the other side of the country. Upon hearing this, she insists on celebrating his birthday with her, since there are only a few days left in summer vacation. She also invites Sosuke to join their celebration. But throughout the day, there is tension between the boys. They look at each other with hatred. At night, Aoi walks into a store to purchase something. Seizing the opportunity, Yuto confronts Sosuke, asking how well he knows Aoi. Sosuke admits that he doesn't know a lot about her, as he didn't pay attention during their initial dates. This frustrates Yuto, as he believes he would be a better boyfriend for Aoi. The two started arguing, and moments later, the argument turns into a physical fight. Aoi tries to resolve their fight, but Yuto gets angry and leaves them alone. He drops something important, which Sosuke hides in his pocket. After this incident, Sosuke stopped attending school, which makes Aoi worried. One night, Sosuke shared his plans to study medicine in Tokyo. This means a 6-year long-distance relationship. As Sosuke does not want to do this, he proposes an alternative. They can get married in a few months and move to Tokyo together. But instead of getting happy, Aoi gets sad. The next day, she visits her uncle for advice and asks him if she should marry Sosuke soon. He tells her that if she truly loves Sosuke, then she can marry him. With this reassurance, Aoi decides to move to Tokyo with Sosuke. Despite struggling to stay awake in Sosuke's medical classes, they share many beautiful moments. One day, he asks Aoi if she wants to marry him, and she happily replies yes. They return to their hometown for the wedding preparations. During this, she misses Yuto, as he hasn't even responded to the invitation. But one night, when she is thinking of calling Yuto, he calls her and asks her to come outside. He apologized for not responding to her invitation, explaining his busyness due to his partner. He congratulates her on her wedding and tells her to be happy. As wedding preparations progress, Sosuke and Aoi begin to argue regularly. She desires to have a good relationship with his parents, but Sosuke insists Aoi to keep her distance. Aoi ignores his advice and visits Sosuke's father at the hospital. Surprisingly, they get along well. Just as she's about to leave the hospital, she notices Sosuke entering his father's office. He needs his father's signature on a recommendation letter for Yuto so that he can be admitted to one of the best hospitals in the country. The reason? Yuto has a cancerous tumor. It is revealed that the object that fell from Yuto's bag on the night of the fight was actually medicine. As soon as Sosuke saw it, he recognized that it was cancer medicine, so he decided to help him. Yuto didn't get a partner because he was sick, and he lied to Aoi just to keep her happy. He also tells Sosuke about all her habits and asks him to promise that he will always keep her happy. After hearing their conversation, Aoi realizes how much Yuto loves her. Next day, Sosuke takes Aoi to the place where she first met him. He gifts her flowers and confesses his love to her, but she doesn't respond and looks sad, feeling that Sosuke hasn't noticed her sorrow. However, after she leaves, Sosuke looks at her pictures with Yuto. All three of them looked sad, but with the dawn, they accepted their fate and moved forward. After a week, the wedding day finally arrived. As everyone eagerly waited for the arrival of the bride and groom, Sosuke asks Aoi if she loves Yuto. When she admits that, Sosuke tells her to accompany Yuto to Tokyo, where he is going to receive brain surgery to remove his tumor. Meanwhile, Sosuke goes to the church, apologizes to everyone, and bears everyone's anger. Unaware of this, she immediately reaches the airport, where she confesses her love to Yuto and proposes to him to be her partner. Between all this, they get engaged, but Yuto passes away before the wedding. Later, she returns to Japan, where she meets Sosuke, who is managing his clinic. To lessen the grief, Sosuke takes her out, following the methods suggested by Yuto, and this is how the story ends. Remember to share, like, and subscribe to the channel. If you have any suggestions for future explanations, leave them in a comment section below. Till then, take care. Goodbye!